A rich man finds a hidden letter and a mysterious key that lead him to an unexpected secret. At his late wife's grave, he meets the son he never knew. Every clue from old letters to quiet gardens fills his heart with hope and pain. The puzzle of his past slowly comes together, leaving him both surprised and amazed. The truth lights a fire in his soul that will change his life forever. Tell us where you are watching from, and please hit the thumbs up and subscribe right now. Michael was a kind and wealthy man who lived in a big house far from the busy city. He loved his late wife very much and visited her quiet grave almost every week. On a bright, gentle morning, he went to the small cemetery with memories of the past in his heart. As Michael walked slowly between the old gravestones, he noticed a small boy sitting near his wife's grave. The boy sat quietly, his eyes gentle and calm. He held a small old locket in his hand that shone faintly in the sunlight. Michael felt his heart start to race with a mix of surprise and a deep, unknown feeling. Michael remembered the way his late wife smiled in old photographs. The boy's soft features and kind eyes reminded him of her in a way he had never seen before. In that quiet moment, Michael felt as if a long-hidden secret was finally unfolding. It was as if the title of his life was rewritten in that instant. A millionaire had found a son he never knew existed. Slowly, Michael walked over to the boy, feeling the weight of many years of mystery. His steps were soft on the green grass, and the gentle wind carried whispers of secrets long kept. The boy, with careful steps, followed him as Michael picked up the locket. Inside was a faded picture of his wife, and Michael could see a tiny note tucked under the picture that hinted at a secret past. The moment was both happy and sad. Michael felt warmth remembering his wife, but he also felt sadness for the lost time without knowing his son. He thought about old letters, hidden for many years, and full of mysteries he had never been brave enough to read. Now, with a heavy heart and a curious mind, Michael knew that these letters might hold the truth about the boy sitting by his wife's grave. Michael led the boy gently to his car, leaving the quiet cemetery behind. The sky above turned gray as dark clouds began to gather. The journey to his home was silent, but full of hope. When they reached the large house filled with memories of the past, Michael went to a desk in a quiet room and opened a small, dusty box full of old letters. Each letter was written with care, telling secrets of love, hard times, and promises kept hidden. Michael began reading the first letter carefully. The words seemed to glow with the promise of answers and the possibility of new beginnings. He felt a new hope rise inside him with each sentence he read. As he turned the page, every moment felt like a step closer to understanding the secret of his unknown son and the mystery of the past that was still waiting to be unraveled. Michael continued flipping through the old letters, his eyes reading each word with careful wonder. The simple handwritten messages spoke of a time when his wife carefully planned for a day when the secret would be revealed. One faded letter contained a small picture of a garden, a quiet place where she felt safe and hopeful. It seemed that this garden held clues about the unknown son and the secret part of her life. With each page, Michael felt both hope and a little sadness. The letters gently built a map of memories, showing him that the boy was not just a random surprise, but a living piece of the love his wife always carried in her heart. Every clue pointed him toward that hidden garden, a special place that might soon lead him closer to the truth. It was clear that his wife had kept this secret to protect something precious, and now Michael felt the call to follow her footsteps. Slowly, Michael gathered the letters and placed them carefully into a new diary. The soft morning light made the words glow with promise, and the cool breeze at the window whispered that it was time to begin his journey. Leaving the quiet room behind, he stepped toward the door with his heart filled with cautious hope. Every step felt like a new piece of a puzzle falling into place, leading him closer to the mystery of his daughter and the secret of their family's past. As Michael stepped outside, the secret garden waiting in the distance seemed to beckon him forward, its hidden path filled with memories and questions yet to be answered. The journey to piece together the past had only just begun, and every whisper of the wind promised that more would be revealed in time. Michael studied the map with care, feeling a mix of wonder and quiet determination. The handwritten lines and gentle curves on the paper seemed to hold magic, a secret message from his late wife. The glowing light of the day made the faded ink on the map look almost alive, inviting him to follow its path. The boy walked silently beside him, his small steps matching Michael's slow, steady pace. They moved along a winding, overgrown trail that led toward a tall oak tree standing proudly at the edge of a hidden clearing. In the middle of that clearing lay an old stone bench, half covered by soft green ivy. Michael remembered that his wife once loved resting beside nature, and now every element of the clearing whispered clues about the past. The engraved stone on the bench showed a symbol that looked like a warm heart intertwined with a tree, another piece of the secret their family shared. Michael gently traced his fingers over the engraving, feeling as if it held the echo of his wife's love. The boy sat close, his eyes wide with silent understanding. Each step along the path revealed more hints of memories, sunlight dancing on the leaves, the rustle of the wind, and the tender warmth of a forgotten smile captured in the stone. Michael slowly realized that these signs were mapped out to help him build the bridge between his past and his unknown son. With the map in one hand and the mystery of the engraved stone in his heart, Michael stepped further into the garden of memories. The path led them past clusters of wildflowers and quiet corners that held old secrets. Every soft crunch of the leaves underfoot seemed to promise that more clues awaited them. The gentle sound of chirping birds filled the air, as if nature itself was guiding them toward a larger truth. Slowly, Michael and the boy approached a narrow archway made of twisted vines and ancient wood. Beyond the arch, the map hinted at a small, forgotten cottage hidden by nature, a place that might hold more letters, photographs, or mementos of a life that Michael's wife had carefully protected. The little boy paused at the arch, his eyes bright with curiosity and a tender hope that mirrored Michael's own feelings. As Michael stepped forward into the archway, the warm sunlight seemed to bend in encouragement, and the cool breeze whispered promises of discoveries that could mend lost time. The next step of their journey lay ahead, filled with the mystery of the past, hidden treasures of love, and the hope of forging a new future together. Michael stepped inside the forgotten cottage with the boy following close behind. Dust danced in the beams of light that came through the broken windows. On an old wooden table lay a sealed envelope with a wax seal that shone even in the dim room. Michael lifted the envelope with gentle care and opened it slowly. Inside was another map, drawn with clear, simple lines that pointed toward a secret room in the cottage. The map led Michael down a narrow, creaking staircase hidden behind a tattered curtain. With each step, the air grew cooler, and the small space revealed more mysteries. The walls were decorated with faded paintings and sketches that seemed to tell quiet stories of a time long past. At the bottom of the stairs, Michael found a heavy wooden door with a little keyhole. He remembered the old key he had seen earlier, and with trembling hands tried it in the lock. The key turned smoothly, and the door slowly swung open to reveal a secret room filled with dusty diaries, old photographs, and boxes of letters. Inside the hidden room, Michael discovered a large diary with simple but heartfelt words written by his late wife. Each page was full of memories, secrets, and dreams she had for the future. The diary spoke of her love for nature, the hidden garden outside, and the hope that Michael would one day find the truth. Beside the diary lay a collection of drawings and small trinkets that seemed to trace the timeline of a life full of secrets, secrets that linked the past with the present and connected the boy with his late mother. The silent room felt alive with memories as Michael gently turned each page, trying to piece together the true story of his family. The boy with curious eyes moved slowly around a dusty shelf, brimming with old letters and faded photographs. Every object whispered hints of forgotten moments and hidden promises. Michael felt that his wife had planned all of this long ago, leaving behind clues for him to find the pieces of the mystery that now lay before them. With the diary in his hands and the little boy by his side, Michael stood in the quiet glow of the secret room. He sensed that many more pages of the story were waiting to be uncovered in these hidden nooks of the cottage. The gentle rustle of paper, the soft creak of old wood, and the distant sound of birds outside all promised that this was only the beginning of a long, winding journey into the past. A journey that would slowly reveal more secrets and shape the future of their unexpected new family. Michael's eyes moved to a corner of the secret room, where he found a small envelope tucked behind a faded photograph. The envelope was yellowed by time and carried a simple handwritten note that read, "Return to the garden." Michael's heart pounded as he read the words, thinking that his wife had left one more clue. The boy's eyes sparkled with quiet excitement as he saw Michael's gentle smile of hope. Carrying the envelope carefully, Michael stepped back into the cottage's dim light. On a dusty wooden table near an open window lay an old map. This map, drawn with easy lines and marked with a few simple symbols, pointed to a hidden part of the garden. A tiny drawing of a key and a stone pathway appeared next to a sketch of the old cottage. Michael knew that each detail was a clue his wife had left behind for him and the boy to follow. Outside, the warm light of the morning made the garden look even more magical. Michael and the boy began to walk on a narrow stone path overgrown with gentle green moss. Alongside the path, bright wildflowers swayed in the soft breeze. Every step brought them closer to a new secret. As they reached an ancient well with carvings similar to the ones in the diary, Michael remembered the words from that dusty envelope. The well, which had been silent for so long, now whispered hints of past promises. Michael approached the well and carefully lowered a rusty bucket over the side. The sound of the bucket scraping the stone echoed softly. When he pulled it back up, the bucket held a small, mysterious object wrapped in an old cloth. Michael unwrapped the cloth and found a tiny ancient key that was warm to his touch. It was very small, but it shone brightly, suggesting that it opened something very important in the garden. Holding the tiny key as if it were a treasure, Michael felt the pull of a new mystery. He thought that this key might open a hidden door or a small box, something that held more secrets about the past. The stone path wound gently between tall hedges and clusters of blooming trees. Every stone and every leaf on the path seemed to remind him that the clues would soon lead to more surprises. The boy wandered next to a small, old wooden bench near the hedges. On the bench lay a delicate piece of paper with a drawing of the same little key Michael now held. The drawing was simple, but it told a silent story of how the garden was made for secrets and hidden memories. Michael felt there was an important message in this picture, a hint that deeper in the garden, under a canopy of old trees, another treasure awaited them. With a tiny key snug in his palm and a map that promised more answers, Michael and the boy continued along the winding path. Each step into the bright morning was filled with more questions. Who was the secret friend his wife once had, and what did the tiny key unlock? The clues were like pieces of a puzzle scattered in the garden, waiting patiently for Michael to put them together. As the gentle breeze whispered through the trees and the shadows played softly on the stones, Michael felt the weight and wonder of the hidden past. His heart beat with determination, and his mind brimmed with the hope of unveiling one more cherished secret his late wife had lovingly planned. With every step forward, the garden promised new mysteries and more of the story that was yet to be told. Michael stepped out of the small room with the silver locket and the old book close to his heart. A gentle beam of sunlight revealed a long hallway with faded pictures on the walls. Each picture showed happy moments from a time long ago. One picture in particular showed his late wife standing beside a large clock that looked very much like the silent clock he had seen in the corridor. Michael ran his fingers over the smooth, cool surface of the clock's frame, feeling that it held the memory of a precious moment still waiting to be understood. At the far end of the hallway, a peculiar wooden door caught Michael's eye. Its brass knob was small and shone softly, and an engraved heart on its surface reminded him of the symbol on the stone bench in the garden. Michael's hand rested on the knob as he wondered if opening this door would lead them to another important piece of the mystery. The boy walked quietly beside him, his eyes glimmering with hope as they both sensed that something very special lay behind that door. Slowly, Michael pushed the door open, and it creaked to reveal a cozy room filled with more old treasures. On a dusty shelf sat a little wooden box with patterns that matched those in the diary he had read. Michael lifted the box with care and discovered a delicate silver locket inside. When he opened it, he saw a tiny picture of a smiling family and a date written along the edge. A date that seemed to promise more secrets of the past. It felt as if the locket was a message from his late wife, silently guiding him toward a life that was always meant to be shared with the boy. On a nearby table, an old worn book lay open as if inviting him to read further. Michael brushed off a fine layer of dust and turned its delicate pages. The book was filled with small notes, drawings, and sketches that told stories of secret meetings, lost promises, and a deep, enduring love. Every page made Michael feel that he was slowly piecing together the hidden story of his family, a story written by the one he loved and left behind for him and the boy to find. As Michael continued reading, his heart beat faster with each new discovery. He felt that every symbol in the mysterious book was like a piece of a puzzle, helping him to build a clearer picture of the past. Just then, a soft creak drew his attention to an old heavy curtain in the far corner of the room. Behind the curtain, Michael discovered a weathered wooden chest with delicate carvings that seemed to tell a story of their own. The chest, resting in the shadowy corner, looked as if it guarded one more hidden secret. Opening the chest slowly, Michael found a faded piece of paper with a simple drawing that resembled a map. Alongside the drawing lay another tiny key, its metal worn, yet still shining softly. The map showed a path leading to a very special place, a place that might hold the next clue, or even the meeting spot mentioned in his late wife's diary. The boy looked up at Michael with eager eyes, and for a moment, both felt that this treasure was yet another link in the chain connecting their past to a future that was slowly unfolding. With the map, the tiny key, the silver locket, and the old book in his possession, Michael realized that each item was a vital piece of the secret his wife had left behind. The garden, the old cottage, and the quiet rooms of memories had all led them to this point. As he stared at the drawing on the faded paper, a new feeling of determination filled him, a promise that the journey was not finished and that much more lay ahead, waiting to be uncovered. Michael and the boy moved toward a narrow stone path that began at the end of the hallway, the path marked on the paper drawing as the next destination. The soft wind and warm sunlight seemed to guide their steps, promising that the secret meeting spot and the next chapter of their story were just around the bend. Each step on the stone path, each turn of an old page, and each glint of the tiny key brought them closer to the heart of a mystery that was both full of sorrow and hope. A mystery that was far from over, and that held the promise of many more surprises still waiting to be discovered. Michael and the boy finally reached a bright clearing deep in the garden. There stood a small wooden arch, its frame embraced by colorful climbing roses, and beside it, a gentle fountain softly sang in the warm sunlight. On a smooth stone table near the fountain lay a folded letter. Michael walked slowly toward the table, his heart beating with a mix of hope and understanding. He opened the letter with tender care, reading the familiar handwriting of his late wife. In the letter, she explained that the little boy was the secret treasure of their love. She had held him safe until the time was right, planning every step so that Michael would eventually learn that the boy was his own son. Every word was filled with love, showing that she had trusted fate to bring them together when they were ready. As Michael finished reading, a peaceful calm settled around him. The gentle sound of the fountain and the soft rustling of the leaves made everything feel safe and true. The boy stood quietly beside him, and in that moment, Michael felt a joy that he had never known before. His wife's careful planning had finally mended the broken parts of his heart, and the mystery was now complete. With warm determination, Michael embraced the boy as if to say that their family was now whole. He tucked away the letter and the other precious clues left behind, knowing that they would always remind him of the deep love that had guided him to this day. Together they began the walk back to the large house, a home filled with old memories and the promise of new beginnings. Under a sky painted with soft evening colors, Michael and his son stepped forward into their new life. The secret once hidden among old letters and silent gardens had been revealed and turned into a bridge, reaching from the past into a happy future. In that quiet moment, with every gentle step on the stone path, Michael's heart was filled with the soothing truth. Their journey had ended, and a new loving chapter had just begun.